Guys, welcome back to the channel. So I have this, I think is a good example of how we can cost average when we're doing covered calls. It's a security that we bought and, the price has dropped quite a bit. So we're going to look at this and kind of get an idea on what we could do or what you could possibly do if you get in this situation. Let's look at this.
Let's create a budget. Let's get out of debt. Let's build wealth. Okay, guys, so this is an actual history on Siri, the security, and we're going to take a look at this and see what exactly we can do. So we have the dates here, uh, December 7th, where we bought a total of 200 shares. And we can see we paid $159, $507, and $604. I built this Excel sheet to help us demonstrate this. So if we look back, I'm going to first enter where we bought these shares at. So on December 7th, we bought a total of 200, 25, 80, and 95. So December 7th, 25, 80, 95, we paid 159, 507, and 604. And again, we can see that right here, 25, 80, 95, 634, 636, 634, and 636, which matches our totals here. And we can see 159, 507, 20, and 604, 20. And that does match our totals here, 159, 507, 20, and 604, 20. And then we can see our history. So on December 7th, we have 200 shares total. So we sold 2 calls each with a 650 expiration date. And it expired. So then we sold on 12/14, we sold another call, which also expired. On 12/21, we sold another call that also expired. And then on January 4th, we sold a call. So for our calls, we have December 7th, 14th, 21st, and I think that Christmas week I must not have looked in this account because it looked like I skipped that week. And then January 4th. And for those calls, this one got split, but basically for December 7th, we had 235 and 235, which is 470. We got 1867 for the 12/14 call, 867 for the 12/21 call, and 867 for the January 4th call. So again, we got 470, 1867, 867, and 867. So what this sheet is basically designed for is if we enter, it's going to be our cost average. I mean, that's what cover calls and this strategy that I do anyway is all about, because it's not about losing money, but we can see, I can also show you where it's possible to sell this even at a lower call. But let's look at this. I'm going to enter our quantities and the cost at which we bought. Okay, so we have 25, 80, and 95 at 636, 634, and 636, which is basically what we bought on December 7th. This will come out to an average cost of $6.35. So the reason I'm showing you guys this, what happened was Siri this week dropped. So Siri is currently setting at $5.91. So I pulled up Siri's options chain because we always sell it 1 week out. So if we look at the options right now, is currently, our cost basis was $6.35. So we would have to sell the $6.50 call, and we can see right here there's no calls for $6.50. Now that it dropped below $6, the next available call is at $6. So there's not gonna be. Now there's a couple options we can do here. The first option is we can look out at a later date, but even looking out at the later date, we can see there's still no call. Now this only happens with stock. I mean, if you're using a something a higher level stock like Walmart or Starbucks, you'll rarely ever see this where there's no um, options available. But in this case, there's no options available. Now, of course, the Siri, we know before pre-market, if it ends up coming up, past $6, then the 650 call option will more than likely populate. But if it's not there, right, and we may have to wait a week, but if we now that the price dropped to 591, and this is, people sometimes when it comes to cost averaging, you're wondering like, when should I buy it? So to me, especially if you're starting off, this with only like $1,000, say, and then you get in this situation where there's no options to be sold, this is where you can now think about buying more of this stock. So currently our average cost is sitting at $6.35. And we know that Siri right now is at $5.91. So what this sheet does is you can kind of, we know that if we want to sell the $6 call, then our cost basis needs to be below $6. Now, this is where this is kind of twofold. So we've been selling Siri now for 4 weeks, right? This I wouldn't do unless you just absolutely want to get out of a certain stock. If you wanted to completely get out of this, you could technically sell the $6 call, because that means you're going to lose $35 on this. Well, if the $6 call is worth, say, $10, that means we will get another $10, right? So we made a total of $50.71. So if you sold the $6 call, you're going to lose $35, but you're going to end up gaining a total on this total transaction from the time you bought to the time you sold. You end up gaining about $15. Let me explain this. And I've had this question come up, and that's why I want to explain this. So if you had 100 shares and you bought those 100 shares at $6.35, right? You paid a total of $635 for those shares. Now, if you sell the $6 call, that means that you're selling 100 shares at $6. It doesn't matter, I've had people look at this and they see that the $6 call is like paying out 20 when the $6.5 call is only paying out $5. So they're like, well, I could just sell the $6 call, but you got to understand, they're going to sell 100 of your shares at $6. You're going to get a total of $600 for that sale. That means you pay $635, you're negative $35. That's why I always advise people, don't make sure you sell a call higher than your cost basis. Now, if you sell, yes, you only get $5 for the 650 call, but those $100, once that gets to 650, right, they're going to sell this. Your total is now going to be 650. Is what you're going to get for that sale. You pay $635, you're going to get $650. You're going to make $15. Plus, you're going to receive this call over and over and over again for $5 until it reaches this $650 price. That's what people got to understand. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're making this $5 week after week after week and you're up $100 now, and now you're wanting to get out of this stock, then yeah, you can sell a $6 call, receive the $25, right? Let's say it's worth $25. You can receive the $25. This is math. It's math and numbers, right? You can receive the $25. Yes, your cost basis, you're going to lose $35. So you're going to lose $35 on the actual, I guess it would be negative capital gain on this. So that means you're at a loss of -$5 and you're out of this stock. You don't have to worry about it no more. And you made a total of $95 over time. So that's where it can come into play. Someone was asking that. That's where it can come into play if you wanted to sell a in the money call, but or if your cost basis was lower, but we can get into that to another video. That's one way. Now, another way is if you wanting to sell the $6 call, it's Monday morning, you're wanting to sell the $6 call, you have money in your account, remember, if you're doing this inside a Roth, you're limited on how much you can put in. But if this is a regular broker account, all you need to do is you can come in here and you say, okay, if I buy 100 shares at $5.91, it's going to drop your cost basis to $6.20. You can still do the math here and say, okay, I have 300 shares now. I could sell the $6 call, get $25. That's going to be $75. And this number you can play with. You can kind of see this is how much it's going to cost you depending on how much money you have. If you bought 200, it's going to bring your cost basis down to $613. If you bought 300, it's going to bring it down to $609 and $606. So it would take you 600 shares, 800. It would take you 800 shares to get that cost basis down, which is $4,000. This is if you had to get out of it. Worst case scenario, I mean, let's say you buy 200 and your cost basis drops to $613. You may be able to negative cost average out of that, or you can just wait until the stock goes back up or the stock goes lower. So if you didn't, let's say you didn't have the money and then this stock goes even lower, let's say it goes to 5.75. Now the 200 will take you to 605. So it really, it really averages itself out. So if you didn't have the money and the price drops lower, then you're going to be able to lower your cost basis a lot faster once you get the money. And then you can average out of this, or you can just hold it until it goes back up, which is great because let's say that you didn't do anything and this stock stayed at 605. Now all of a sudden it goes up to 620, 630 again, which has been at for a while. And you now have 400 shares. You have 400 shares, but your cost basis is $6.05 now. So now let's say the stock is starting to rise again. It's fine. The 650 call is in there every single day. So now you're getting 4 contracts, and if you're getting that average, you're getting $20 a week or a total of $100 a month. So you just keep doing that. Now, if this actually hits the 650, your strike price one day, you're going to get a total of $45 in capital gain from each contract. So you'll get $45 from each contract. That's because your cost basis is 605. You're selling at 650, meaning your average price for this is $605 per 100 share. You're receiving $650 per 100 share. So that's a total difference of $45. And you have 4 contracts now because you are cost averaging down. So that means you'll get $45 times 4. And that's what? 45 is 90. 9 times 2 is 18. You'll get $180 in capital gain. Plus you got 650. So this is going to mean your account is now worth 650 times 4, plus all of the, your value, your account just went up quite a bit, plus all of the cover call money you received up until this point. So now you can jump into Coca-Cola or a more reputable stock and get out of it. The point I'm trying to make, guys, is there are ways to get out of this. It just takes time and patience. The whole point is, if you're not selling below your cost average, then you're always compounding. Once the gain is realized, you're compounding. And I've had, one other thing real quick. I've had people say, well, what's the downside to this? And I'm like, okay, well, let's say, it's unlikely, but let's say the stock dropped 50%, right? Let's say, you're at 635, you have 200 shares and the stock drops to $3, and if you're at 635, either you have money and you're averaging down, or you have no money, you're waiting for it to go back so that you can sell a new call as soon as those populate. Well, if you don't have no money and this stock continues to go down, 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 you know, and let's say it does drop to $3, the chance of this happening is really unlikely. But let's just say, I mean, this is to address people's worst fears. Now, if you bought 100 at $3, your cost basis is 523, and at $3, I mean, you could even buy 2 or 300 at that price, right? Every time you buy it, your cost basis go low. You can now, and at some point, this stock's going to turn back around. If you believe the stock's going to go bankrupt, you shouldn't be in that stock in the first place. But eventually, once this thing starts to turn around, man, that's when it's sweet, because your cost basis is 434. This stock jumps back up to $5, and you can either sell in the money call anytime you want to get out of it. You can sell it at market value, or you can just keep selling the calls on it and do it over and over again. So guys, I hope that wasn't too confusing. I mean, if you have any questions, if you want to, I'm thinking about doing more of these in my Patreon page. That way people can see actual real examples, and you can actually see how I've actually gotten out of quite a few times. I mean, I've never been stuck in a stock yet, but there's been some pretty close calls, but it's kind of rare. Most of these stocks, I mean, it's pretty safe. These companies aren't going nowhere for the majority of them. I mean, could it happen? Absolutely. It's 100% possible. But if you're in some reputable companies, then you'll be fine. So guys, I hope you found value in this. If you did, I would appreciate a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you never miss a video. If you have any questions, just leave comments below this video and I'll address them as soon as I can. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.